trouble is nowadays there aren't the same restraints that they had in the past. In the past, people were up against the restraints of nature. And nowadays they've managed to circumvent nature in so many ways. I mean, if you had wanted to travel anywhere in the past, it was a job. It wasn't easy. I mean, out here you probably had to buy an elephant to start with. Then you had to sort of drive, I think, whatever they did. But nowadays, I mean, you just get in a car or a bus and go anywhere. So easy. The same is true of going to other countries. I mean, people can go enormous distances now so easily. One time it was hard work. Very hard work to do that.
Oh, it took you weeks to come here.
Yeah. When after the war I went back to India. It took 16 days to go to Bombay from England. And that was thought quick in those days. If you went by plane, before the war, if you went by plane, it was 4 days to India. When you flew in the daytime, at about 5,000 feet, no higher, and that came chills in the airplane.
You have to land in water too, right? You have to land in water and then...
No, these were the old 2 or 3 engines, I can't remember now. The pilot was outside. The passengers were inside. He was outside on top, like that, 2 pilots on top. Going about, I think it was about 130 miles an hour. I said going over Saudi Arabia, you could see the camels running. I mean, even that was easy compared to what people had before. If you wanted to do that journey in the past, you had to go in a ship right the way around Africa with quite a good chance that you wouldn't arrive.
Yes.
The storms and the ships and the pirates, all sorts of things.
Also those aeroplanes weren't. Did you know what you wanted to do when you left England, actually?
When I left England?
Yes,
when I left to India? No, well, my father was out in India. He was a mining engineer out there. And I was going out to the family out there. Gold mine.
So when you came to Thailand, you knew you wanted to become a business?
Oh, I was a Samanera already. Novice. Because I was ordained first in London by a Sinhalese. He ordained me as a Samanera. Sinhalese monk. Gunasiri.
And you didn't go to get ordained in Sri Lanka, huh?
I wasn't interested in Sri Lanka because I knew there wasn't much meditation there. If it had been open, I may have gone to Burma. But I knew it was hopeless Burma. And I heard that things were quite good in Thailand by the Sunday days. No, I was quite fortunate. Of course, previously I hadn't thought much about Thailand. Because Burma I thought about because the British had been there.
Hi, that's what I thought. For an English speaker, to be attracted to Burma or Sri Lanka rather than Thailand.
Yeah. But I remember when I was young how society in those days was very much more restrained, and they had, in England of course, I mean, they had much better views of morality and things like that. Just the ordinary people, they had a good idea of what was evil and what wasn't. And they'd sort of say, well, it's a sin to tell lies and things like that. Nowadays, still got very few people think that.
The Americans too.
Yes.
I mean, I noticed the Americans in your generation when I went to school there, they're still very religious. I mean, not even though they're not religious people,
they've got an idea of morality.
The idea of morality is very good.
And that's all gone. And to me, that's a very clear indication things going in the wrong way. I mean, I know everybody says, well, the last generation was much better than the present one. And of course that is the case. If you're going downhill, the further you go, the more you're downhill. And this is the way it's going at the moment.
I think morality is gone with the Vietnam War. It seems to be just
not in England.
the generations, even among the
Yeah.
Thai people too.
It was about 1960 the change took place. In England it probably started with the Beatles.
Don't blame them. They just
No, it's possibly not to blame them, but that's about when it started. But the thing is that the whole attitude of people has changed. I mean, at one time they had certain faith in their religions, in different religions. I mean, in England it was mainly Christianity, that sort of thing. And after about 1960, everybody just said, well, that's out of date now. It's gone.
I think it's the influence of the guerrilla styles of morality.
Really? Yes.
Underground things. I remember reading all the war stories in the Second World War. I read it with joy. I mean, it seems to be both sides, they have dignity as a man.
Yes.
When one got defeated, they just send kind of a congratulations to the others who got victory. And when things is like that, I think they are really great. But nowadays, I mean, the war in Vietnam, they just fight with.
Well, in Europe, this is the case because European culture is in large part common. There's an understanding. But with the Japanese, I don't think so.
Oh yeah, right. That's right.
It's very different. But whatever the causes are, it's gone bad now. I think my own feeling is that what's happened is it's a question of rebirth. People don't look at rebirth and what it means. And I mean, what has happened in England? England had a large empire at one time, and had connections with a very large number of countries. And having those connections, one may expect to some extent that there'll be a lot of people from those places reborn into England. So you've got people with attitudes from all over the world there now. And this is the sort of change that's taken place, I think. I think it's largely a matter of rebirth. The people who are coming into an environment which suits them. And that environment is an environment that's to some extent deteriorated. And they then take up the wrong attitudes in that environment because this is what they've been used to from the past. In turn, that makes it worse the next time. And I think it's a matter of rebirth here. The implications of rebirth, I haven't heard much about them from people. It's not sort of very clear there in the sutras. The implications are that if people are born in a situation that's suitable to them, one must look at the situations in the world to see what sort of people are going to be reborn. And this gives everyone an idea of what's likely to happen. I mean, in Thailand, at the moment, I'd say that you get various groups. You'll get some very good people reborn because of Buddhism, genuine Buddhism here. You get quite a lot of people who are not so good reborn, because although there's Buddhism here, a large amount of it is corrupt and deteriorated. Then you'll get quite a lot of others reborn who will be probably not very good people at all. These are the working class and a lot of politicians as well.
But isn't that, I mean, I find it always difficult if one talks about in this way, about karma, because it means if I have someone who's working class, I immediately, if I'm not careful, say, oh, this is a bad thing. bad rebirth or bad birth. And it's not like that, really. I mean,
with individuals, you can't say. Because the person is born into an environment, all you can say is that the average of a type of person born into an environment will be the average of that type of environment. Put it right like that. Whereas individuals may be very different. I mean, we all know that there are some people who are born into a very low environment and they manage to become very good people and very influential people too. Others are born into a very good environment and they're awful. Both ways it can go.
Rich people will also, will lie and get rich by corruption.
Yes.
Or people get born into
Yes.
just.
Well, this is what can happen. You get people like that, and somebody has made merit in the past. Because they've made merit, perhaps with money, they get born into an environment where they get a lot of money. But their morality in the past wasn't necessarily very good. It's because they made merit. It's true that the being born into a rich environment is the result of merit there. But if the rest of it's not good, it may be very damaging.
And how is it if someone who practices very hard and gets a lot of attainment, but actually comes from a very poor environment and stays poor throughout?
Yeah, this can happen. The thing is, Ajahn said this. He said once, try and attain monogamy. If you don't, you get a lot of dukkha. Particularly somebody who's going on the path, going that way. Because when they come back, they'll have the morality in them, which will probably run contrary to a lot of what they need. They'll be able to see things and see clearly what's happening in so many places where they can do nothing. And they'll know things are wrong. They'll know you can't say anything. Because everybody just shouts at them and shouts them down. And because of that, a person like that would get a lot of difficulty. Probably a lot of difficulty. If they had enough wisdom, they'd manage to steer their way through it and just find somewhere else. But the thing is that a good person who's done the practice and got fairly free inside, or free to a certain extent anyway, they're likely to get quite a lot of dukkha when they come back again. But at the same time, that's far better than the people who are all blind. Far better. I mean, at least that person's got a direction.
But why do they get the dukkha?
Because their situation is so contrary to what they're pitched into. They're pitched into this situation. I mean, you imagine being what you know, then you have to go and live with a lot of sort of rough Australians out in the outback, like that. You see these people and you think, gosh, these people are gross. As gross as anything, these people. But you can't talk to them in any way except their own way. You start trying to tell them anything a bit higher, and they don't want to listen. They're not interested. And all the time went up against that sort of thing.
So in other words, it's quite dangerous nowadays when we can see that all the people who make merits do not have much sila. So that predict in the future they're going to be like that.
Yes.
They're going to be the rich with
I
morality.
often think that it's quite true that one makes merit and one gets the results of that merit, which is something good. But if that good that one gets is mixed up with something that's bad, it can lead one to turn all that into the wrong direction. I mean, one thing I always remember is this foot here. This is obviously the result of bad karma. But it saved me from going into the war. That was the other way around, which although it was probably the result of bad karma, at the same time it saved me from a great deal of trouble. I know that.
I learned that too, that the Buddha says that Devatatta is also important to him.
Yes.
Because, and for us too, I mean for us disciples too, if there's no black thing to contrast, how can we see it white?
Yes. It's quite true. It's so, and it seems also that wherever you get a true religion coming up, you will also get the opposite. I mean, if you get religion that gets very high, you get black magic and things like that as well. Because it's as though the opposite comes up. Because the world's made of opposites. These are sort of general principles. They're worth seeing because one can get some idea of one's own position. That's one's own specific practice, that's another matter. And the thing is that the practice of samadhi is extremely valuable because that wakes one up. And sharpens the mind up.
I thought that's the practice of Pañña.
No, the practice of samadhi is the one that concentrates the mind and brings it together.
Yes, but I thought it brings the mind together, but then you need Pañña to actually get some.
Pañña is the using of the samadhi. Pañña, when the samadhi is there, when the Pañña can arise, one must have the basis for it. It's the samadhi which will sharpen it up like that, sharpen up the mind. Because I mean, the mind that's distracted is all over the place. It's not got any strength. I mean, it's like a water nozzle. If the water's just spraying out like that, it's got no power behind it. If you focus it in one jet like that, it's quite strong. And the mind's a bit like that. One needs to try to bring the mind to a state like that where it can be focused. When it can be focused well, then it can be used to investigate things, and the mind can be kept on that thing, kept on it, and just run about in that without distracting it.
That's what I meant, But you need then, if the focused mind, you need then to investigate in order to get wisdom.
Yes, that brings the wisdom.
That's what I mean.
Where it comes up.
So the samadhi alone is not going to.
Samadhi alone will bring one a clear mind, very clear mind. And if one doesn't develop normal wisdom, doesn't develop the wisdom as far as the past goes, one will probably gain wisdom in the world. It will give one a worldly wisdom, but that's not really the right path. I mean, there are quite a lot of people in the world who've got a lot of wisdom, just naturally, or from their karma. And I mean, you get people who they instinctively know the right way to behave, the right things to say, the right way to approach people. These are all practices of wisdom. And they're very important. I mean, one can see the advantage of that over the person who hasn't got it. Becomes very obvious.
Yes, I wanted to ask you to tell more about what's the right way.
Well, I mean, plenty of people who don't know how to approach it. They don't know how to do the right thing. They don't know how to say the right thing. They say they've got two left feet.
But how would you explain to such a person what the right feet are? Or where can they learn it? Come.
If a person can develop samadhi alone, and they can still be rather stupid. Quite possible. if they haven't got the background, if they haven't got any development of wisdom in the background, I mean, a lot of the what you might call simple village people are a bit like that. They can develop samadhi quite easily, but they can't develop wisdom easily. Wisdom is very difficult. The person who hasn't gotten very difficult. If they have a teacher and the teacher points out what they should do and shows the way, then they can do samadhi.
I believe that in practicing, I have to respect or to believe in the teacher wholeheartedly. That can help. I mean, you have to feel like that to the teacher. That teacher can tell you to go into the roughest place. I have to go. Things like that. So believe that there must be something good in there.
If the teacher is the right teacher, and a good teacher, so one has to be very sure it's the right teacher. If one's absolutely sure one's got a good teacher and then you've got the evidence for it, then that's a different matter. But finally, the only sure, well, I mean, there's two ways. If one has got the right teacher and goes to that teacher and one gets the result as he teaches, then one knows that's right. The other way is to work it out for oneself. In other words, one has the teaching of Dhamma, or Buddhism, works on it, and one gets to know it, one thinks about it, and one sees it, and one does all one can. And this is known as Suttamaya Pañña, the wisdom developed by learning. It turns into Chintamaya Pañña, or wisdom developed by thinking about it. When one thinks about it, one comes to know the teaching. One comes to know the ins and outs of it. And one learns from other people as well what their experiences are, and one learns from that. One sees something of how that works. One begins to see the way that samadhi and pañña are working not only in oneself but in other people as well. And all this is then the basis for bhavanamaya pañña, which when the samadhi develops, the bhavanamaya pañña will come up very useful because it's all being prepared. This way, and in that case, when the main teacher is pañña, his own pañña. That's the surest stuff. But if a person's got that, then it's very valuable. But I mean, even then, a good teacher is valuable because a good teacher can show them all sorts of shortcuts and point out things which one hasn't seen before. And when he points them out, then one realizes, oh, I see what that means now. Previously one hadn't. And so one gains much more quickly.
Also one can deceive oneself very easily. One can deceive oneself very easily, isn't it?
If the person doesn't have enough wisdom, yes, one can. But the thing is, when it's Dhamma, if one has the wisdom there, one will also have the doubt. There's two types of doubt there. There's the right type and the wrong type. The right type of doubt is the doubt which makes one check and be sure about things which one's not sure about, and things which are doubtful. Whereas the wrong type of doubt is even when one's got all the evidence, one still disbelieves it. The wrong type of doubt is just a rank disbelief. It's a sort of skepticism, where one can't believe. One feels, oh yes, well I know it all fits together, but I still can't believe it. People are like that. Some people are like that where rebirth is concerned, being born again. They just can't believe it. They get all the evidence, they know the stories about other people who can remember it, but they can't believe it. And this is Vicikicca, this is the wrong type of doubt. But the right type of doubt is the doubt where one has an experience, and then one says, well, what was that experience I had? One doesn't know. Doesn't know whether it was samadhi or jhana or whether it was past moment or what it was. One doesn't know. And on that one must have doubt. There must be doubt. If one's not doubtful, one can go wrong very, very easily. I mean, it's because of not being doubtful, you get so many people who suddenly believe they're arahant. They have some experience in samadhi and they believe they've become arahant. And this happens time after time. And because they don't have any doubt there, they suddenly have come across an experience, oh, I've done it. That's the kilesas coming up, actually. Kilesas come up and they make the person believe something wrong. Because he believes that, gets that wrong view that he's enlightened, so he thinks, I don't have to do any more. No need to work, no need to do meditation practice, no need to think anymore. And if a person really believes that, they're finished. Can't go any further. It's a big blockage in front of them. Doubt is important. And this doubt is the thing that can help one. I mean, if one gets some understanding, which is rather unusual, then you think, can this be true? You work it out and you think, yes, it all fits together. And then you look for experience and you see, well, the experience doesn't contradict it. So you still feel unsure about it, but at the same time it does seem to be right. You go on working on it, and perhaps bit by bit you see it's right. Or if there's some faults in it, you're ready to accept them. It's really keeping an open mind and a readiness to accept anything, to accept anything as being wrong if it's shown to be wrong. This is the way one doesn't deceive himself. But deceiving oneself is being too ready to jump to conclusions. One jumps to the idea, oh, it must be, that's it, it's this, it's that. And really, I mean, whatever, if we get some experience or if we get ideas, what are they really? We say it's this or we say it's that, but that's just a symbol. And if one says it's samadhi or jhana or something like that, it's just a word. So one's invested this word with a lot of concepts and ideas. And because one hasn't had the experience before, one doesn't know whether these are right or wrong. So one has to be very careful. And I remember one bhikkhu was here, and he said he did a lot of practice, and he thought he'd attained enlightenment. And he said, oh, I attained enlightenment. Anyway, Tanachan talked to him, and he said, he said he'd gained arahant. So Tanachan said to him, well, you've gained that type of arahant. Now you have to go on, there's another type of arahant. Because he knew there was no good just telling him, no, that's wrong, it's nothing, So he didn't do that. He said, yes, that's you gained arahant, but now you must go on and do this. If you have a friend who's enlightened, all right, doesn't matter. That's her experience. One's own experience is one's own experience. Don't worry about that. What other people have done, what they do, whether they're enlightened or whether they're not enlightened, that's not oneself. And I mean, the person those who do attain arahantship, they don't go about telling other people about it. Why should they?
But this was declared by the teacher, you see, not the student herself, not the Nishi herself.
Yes.
It was declared by
even the teacher. I mean, to give an example of what this means, Tanachan says of some of the Ajahns, the other Ajahns, he says, yes, I know he's done it, he's got there. So he said, I managed to talk to him. And he talks to him and he wants to know the practice, right from the beginning, his practice, meditation practice, right from the beginning, right up to where he is at the present time. And Ajahn says if he does that, he knows whether this person is attained or not. Others, he says, he's not sure. And even everybody says they're arahant. Ajahn Mahabodh doesn't say that unless he's checked. He says maybe, but he says I'm not sure. So to know who's actually attained is very difficult. It's not easy. Even you get someone like Ajahn Fun. Ajahn says, well, I think he did attain. But he said he never had a chance to talk to him. So I mean, he still feels, the way he says, well, he thinks he really did. But he says just a slight 95%, yes, a little bit there, which he's not absolutely sure. Because he never had a chance to talk to him.
He's still as precise as that, not to give it 100%.
Yes.
But I did not attain anything, and yet I could tell from when one tells about her meditation.
Oh, yes.
Just only nimitta.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's rather paradoxically, you can say, it's very easy to tell who is not an arahant, but it's not easy to tell who is.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. It takes an arahant who knows the arahant.
Yes, maybe. Because to distinguish between that and an argument, for instance, must be very difficult. It's very difficult indeed. Really. But whether other people say they are arahants or whether they say they're not, whether they are arahants or not, that isn't oneself. For oneself, one's got one's own practice to do, one's own problems, one's own relations. And that's what one has to deal with. And one shouldn't be comparing oneself to other people. Because one's comparing, it's rather like comparing chalk with cheese. Chitta is not something you can know like objects like this or this, because the chitta is the one who knows all the time. It's the one who knows inside. Because of that, you can't look at the chitta. You can't look at the chitta. But one can know the chitta in the past. Past chitta. What was the chitta? Then you can say, oh, I can see now. My chitta was in a bit of a mess there. My chitta was a bit like this, or had a lot of greed in it, or whatever. Say that. But the chitta at the moment, present moment, what it's doing, you don't know, can't know it like that. The only thing you can do is to get to experience the chitta by being the chitta. That's all. And this is very difficult. Something very subtle. You can know the chitta, but you can't see it. You can't use it. It's not a sensory thing. You can know it. Not something like an object outside. You can't know it in that way, because the chitta is the one who knows that. And for the chitta to know that, you have to split itself in two somehow. And you can't do that.
It's a habit chitta who knows who knows oneself, who knows the citta itself. It's the citta and arahant,ใช่ไหมคะ? It's mean citta and arahant to be able to see that.
I wouldn't like to say much about the chitta. I mean,
that's a knife that can cut.
All I can say is that from what I heard, chitta of the arahant is still inside, not impermanent. And it's unaffected by all this. The things that affect our own chittas, the chitta of the arahant is quite still inside, and it's unaffected by any of this. Because of that, chitta of the arahant has no dukkha, no feeling. Feeling is external. How could it? Because feelings are changing. It's like Ajahn says, the chitta of the ordinary person is kicked about like a football. The couldn't get her chitta fixed, so she put a candle out there and then brought the flame inside, so that was going up and down. And I said, well, that was her skillful method. And it worked. That's all that mattered.
I wonder what works with me.
No, probably wouldn't. No, one has to find one's own skillful method. Each person must find their own method. There are all sorts of things like that people have done. They find it. Like the bhikkhu I heard of, who he did his samadhi and he used to go to sleep every time. So he got this board and put it across the top of a well, and he sat on that.
Kind of clever to have to do that.
Sometimes once or twice he slept and he fell up and quickly he grabbed his legs and climbed back on again. That was his method, it worked. Yeah, some go and sit on the edge of a cliff. So if they go to sleep they know they're likely to drop off.
I don't know. It seems to me I'm either too tired or I'm too soft.
Yeah.
I either sit there and I fall asleep and I calm. It's not calm and sleep.
Well,
Object.
I mean there are all sorts of things one can do. For example, sometimes a bit of light might help. And put a candle on.
Yes,
Just because of light.
When I'm awake I'm too tired.
Yeah.
I sit.
Another thing one can do it by changing posture, by standing or kneeling. Can do it sometimes. You can use standing. All sorts of things one can try.
But what can you try about the being too tired?
Probably activity is the best, walking.
Or I feel like, I'm going calm and with the breath, and as calm as I get, at a certain point I tighten up.
The only thing you can do there is to try and find a point. You'll find probably within you that there's one point where this is coming from.
In the body?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. You'll be able to find an actual physical point if you search. And the thing is to get to know that point.
I mean, it's very physical. It's intense physical sensation.
Yes, but you'll probably find that there's one focal point of it. The focal point. Well, this is the important thing.
And what do I do with it?
Quite likely the solar plexus.
It is the solar plexus, yeah. What do I do with it? Because I try to be with it doesn't help. I try to go away.
Have you tried doing the breathing at that point?
I tried.
Breathing the movement of the abdomen.
Yeah. I tried that.
Yeah.
It just gets more intense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's obviously where the main blockage is. The only thing is to go on. Yeah.
And rather focus there or not focus there.
If you can define the situation clearly there and define the feeling clearly, that might help a bit. But it's no good trying to find out the reasons for that. I don't think you'll be able to. The only way is to go on with the practice. And the point is, though, if you can defeat that, if you can get through that, you'll probably come to some very good results. Because it's important. But the kilesas won't like it. You have to be ready for that. I mean, this tightening up is part of the kilesas. It's trying to stop them from happening. If you could let go and go into that, the kilesas would probably be defeated. But they're just sort of stopping them. The thing is, watch them, get to know them, try and keep relaxed as much as you can there. And if you go on, condition will probably arise when things are right. It may take some time, it's hard to say. It's coming. The results are coming. People are a very strange mixture. It's true, it's very strange. Because the Buddha said that the arising and ceasing of the whole world can be shown in this body, can be seen in this body. Because the body, and if one asks why is the body in this shape, all you can say is it's probably a mirror of the chitta at the level of the human being. It's not the whole chitta, at the level of the human being. And that the body is the odd sort of variations from person to person are just they come of that person in the past. Probably mainly at the human level too. People are very complex too. And the body is bad enough, and when it comes to chitta. If the karma is there, it can come up. I mean, a person's got all sorts of karma. And if they've done the right things in the past, when they meet the right thing to figure that off, that karma will arise. And the fact that they're bandits at the moment is bad. But I mean, the point is that if they had that karma in them, what they were doing was for nature that wouldn't bring that karma up. Or the results of that karma wouldn't come up. Because they're suited to it. But hearing a desana like that, immediately up it comes. This is the thing, one can never be sure of people because of this. You can never be sure whether a person's really a good person or really a bad person. I mean, in the world we've got worldly methods of showing it, but what's within that person we just don't know. What their past is we don't know.